We're going to move right along to one of our first speakers from our live edition in Amsterdam, James Lemon. He joined us right before the pandemic hit us, and we had to shut down our live events. So I'm excited to have him on our IME Hotel webinars, and I'm just going to hand it right over to him. James, welcome. The floor is yours.
That is very kind, Christian, and great to be here. And I don't quite know how to follow that, but Rocco, always great to hear from you, and hopefully everyone's getting a lot out of it. So we've heard a lot of great stuff about looking after people, about recruiting people and teams, but now last 15 minutes, we're here to talk about you. Here to talk about you as employees, as leaders, as people. How do you look after yourself? Listening to how amazing it would be to work at Bidroom, free lunches, never going to fire anyone, amazing projects, brilliant. But what do you do if your boss does make redundancies? What do you do if there aren't free lunches? What do you do if you're on low pay? More importantly, what do you do if you don't get a lot of support? Where are you going to go next in your career? What skills do you want to get? How are you going to build your confidence, and how are you going to get ahead? And maybe your next step isn't with your current company at all. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking these things. That's what's great about these events. We can come along and contribute and think of ourselves as HR leaders or operational leaders and really think about what's next for our teams. But we've always got to keep one eye on what's next for us as individuals. So today, what we're going to be covering, we're going to be talking a little bit about what are some of the limitations of waiting for your boss to be amazing? What can you do to commit to spend a little bit of time on you? What are some really simple steps to get ahead? What might you do next? We want to share some thoughts on why and how you can connect across the whole of hospitality. Hospitality is really unique. It's a people business. It's a service business. So our leaders are genuinely here to serve the industry and serve each other as well. And I want to see if you're ready to make a personal commitment. I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions. Maybe they're not too trendy right now on the 20th of January, but it's still the start of 2022 and a lot can happen in a year. So are you ready to make a bit of a commitment? So let's get started. Quick intro to myself. I've worked in hospitality for about 12 years now. I had 5 years at Intercontinental Hotel Groups, looking at how to build strong brands, how to build great guest experiences, where in the world they should grow. A little bit of time in the UK, in Singapore, and in the US. I had 4 years in the technology side of travel. So I worked at Travelport, one of the distribution companies, looking at how all the bits of tech bolt together to create better working kind of conditions behind the scenes, but better guest experience as well. And for about 4 years, I've been working in startups, initially at Hostmaker, a big homes business, but for 3 years consulting and working with startups looking to really kind of win in hospitality, and also hotel chains looking to be more innovative and maybe act a bit more like startups themselves. So we've worked with IHG, Hilton, Preferred Hotels, Accor. We've worked with tech companies like Stripe and Muse and a whole range. So we know the industry really well, and we are incredibly passionate about people, experiences, and seeing what's next. What's Otolo? So starting off as a bit of a give back for the industry, really. We set up a mentoring platform in March 2020, noticing just how much people wanted to give back to the industry. We'd all been hit, people were losing their jobs, demand was collapsing, but a lot of leaders had seen crises come and go and were more than happy to spend a couple of hours a month if it would help potentially the younger generation or people who were just kind of not sure what to do next. We managed to get a little bit of government funding. We've kind of moved that forward. And here we are 2 years with something that we call Otolo. There's three pillars to the community, really. At its heart is still mentoring, what we call connections. At any point, any individual in hospitality or anyone who's a leader can either contribute as a member or a mentor and connect, collaborate, discuss, share time. And we've got hundreds of those connections being made every month. We're also just kicking off courses. So we know some people want certification. Maybe you didn't go to the best hotel schools. Maybe you've never studied hospitality. So we've got some great courses coming out on getting started in hospitality, on success in your first line management role, on how to be a great mentor, and lots more. So we're going to be working with organizations and individuals on that. But most importantly is this community aspect. Yes, you can get mentoring. Yes, you can take a course, but actually think of us as just a supportive space where thousands of people across the industry are gathering to attend events, to read and contribute content, to openly ask questions about their careers, about their functions, about what next. And that networking is incredibly powerful at producing work. It's totally free, so like I'm generally not here to sell you anything, but hopefully as we go through the session, you'll be thinking a lot about you and your career and your journey, and you'll finish the session wanting to join us and join the movement. We can chat a little bit about that. So where do we start? Well, we're going to start at the end. I'm going to tell you the answer. We all need help, so accept it. Yeah, everyone is a bit stuck. It's been a crazy 2 years. We're so busy at work, we've potentially not made time for our own development. Yeah, we haven't necessarily thought, well, what happens after this? What happens to me as a leader? What kind of work do I want to do? What kind of work-life balance do I want to have? We're just a bit stuck in that routine, whether it be childcare and pets, whether it be working at home or back to the hotel or office, whether it be tackling new jobs or all hands on deck because there's so much going on. I think we're all feeling a little bit stuck. And it's important to recognize we're not going to win on our own. Success is a team effort, and that learning process of where next is something that you're going to need from others. It's completely okay to ask for help. I'm sure most of you know that. As long as you formulate your clear intentions, what is it you need? What is it that you're looking for? Do you want to give back and share with others? Do you want to get support and find some answers? You may well find that mentoring, coaching, networking, just a few minutes each week or each month will be huge. It'll be a huge boost to your confidence, and you'll be amazed at the results it'll have. It's a fascinating time right now, but those people who are taking those first steps to collaborate across the industry, to learn new skills, to show up online, asking questions, showcasing what their passion is, those are the people who are getting the biggest pay rises, who are most important to their employers, who are snapping up the new and interesting jobs that are being created. So whatever your goals, whether it's just to be happier, be more confident, achieve more balance, get a pay rise, get ahead, accept the fact that you need some help. It's okay to care for others, and it's okay to need a bit of care. Now, why can't you get everything you need from your boss? Well, as Socrates said 2,000 years ago, we all need to recognize there's a huge amount we don't know that we don't know. In a way, we know nothing. And the problem with organizations, just working within an organization, is that you circulate old ideas and you don't get a fresh perspective. So what happens is you find that if you're a woman and you want to be a successful female leader one day, well, what do you do if all of your programs are being run by men? And we find this time and again, we know many kind of female mentorship programs or diversity mentorship programs, and the mentors are old white men. And people aren't showing up with people who look like them, who have been through the challenges they've been through, who can share the kind of opportunities and approaches that they might want to take. So firstly, look, you need to plan for self-learning. Training budgets are going to be tight this year. Not every company is a bid room and is able to invest the time and space in the learning you deserve. So you're going to need to build that into your own plan. Amazing if you can put it in your development plan at work, but if you need to do it on the side, that's fine. You need to practice problem solving. There was an amazing trend in the pandemic where companies were forced to cross-train. And whether you were in a head office or support center, whether you were in a hotel frontline, chances are you were picking up 2 or 3 different jobs due to a lack of people. Well, really interestingly, that was when people were at their most motivated, and that's when they were learning the most. So potentially it's the time to go back to your team, to go back to your boss and start practicing that problem solving. Ask for a project, whether it be on your community strategy, whether it be on a women's support group, whether it be on looking at your environmental and sustainability policy. Like, what is it that you could contribute to that you'd love to do, because it's a cross team, it's new skills, new people, you can showcase it online, it strengthens the CV. Why wouldn't you put your hand up and ask for a project where you'd learn something new? But the last thing is really, you have to prioritize that external perspective. You have to go and seek answers to some of these questions you've got, to some of the things you're tackling at work outside your company. It's the only way our companies are going to get stronger if we learn from right across the industry. And it's the only way we're going to get stronger as individuals if we put our hand up and say, I have questions, I'm ready for help, I need a coach, I need a big brother, I need a critical friend, I need a mentor. Now, have you reached your limits? The short answer is, you know you can do more. We're all flat out, and there have definitely been some really tough days. But I think we all know that after a number of months or a number of years doing the same thing, there's always room to learn something new. There's always new challenges we want to take on. I'm sure many of you in the last few weeks have joined Wordle, the new massive craze. It's amazing how much actually a little bit of self-development, a little bit of a challenge, getting stuck into something new is really addictive. And mentoring is a little bit like that. Coaching is a little bit like that. Getting this external perspective and working on yourself is a little bit like that. Now, you can say you can't do something, but that's how it feels at the start. And whenever we start a new job, we have that perspective. But I can tell you, it's never been easier. It's never been easier to access online learning. And whether you're working at home or just spending a bit more time at home, when you're commuting to work, there are always online courses you can take. There are communities springing up where you can ask questions, read articles, contribute. And there are lots of live sessions, we're literally at one right now, where you not only get a chance to listen, but you get a chance to ask, you get a chance to query, you get a chance to challenge the way that you think. And hopefully you'll all come away with a fresh perspective. You'll all come away with a slightly expanded mindset and you realize, hey, my limits hadn't been reached, there's something new. If you've heard all the sessions today and you're not feeling like that, that's fine. Ask a question. What is it you turned up for 2 hours ago? What is it that you need to know in order to finish today with a slightly expanded mindset, with some new knowledge that you didn't have before? And then I'm here to sell you on spending some time on yourself. If you've started the year or you ended last year thinking, I'm not quite spending enough time on my exercise, thinking about my diet, thinking about where I am in my career, I think that's fine. You can forgive yourself. You're pretty normal. I definitely feel like that a lot. So really simple 4-step approach to help you get started around making time is, one is make the commitment. Just take a pen and paper. Not all of you will necessarily think about, hey, I'm going to be journaling, but journaling is a massive trend and you could definitely start your day with that. But perhaps once a week, just take a little bit of time and jot down a commitment that you're ready to make. Share it with a friend, share it with a peer, and put it out there that, hey, I'm going to be working on this in my professional life, in my career, or in my personal life. Now, for a lot of people, some kind of combining their learning journey with exercise really helps. I'm sure we all want to exercise more, but whether it's just taking time to think, whether it's an audiobook or a podcast, take that walk during a lunch break or in a quiet time of your shift. Get off the bus a little bit earlier. Go for a run at the weekends or a bike ride, but try and make that time that your body is moving, your heart rate is up, and there's some knowledge either spinning around your brain or entering your brain through your kind of ear pods, as it were. Diet and sleep. I'm no nutritionist, but I think whatever you read, trying to get a little bit more sleep, maybe reading before bedtime, thinking about how to eat more sensibly, drink more sensibly. In this industry, that can be tough. We're on our feet, we're dashing between meetings, but you've got to set yourself up right if you're going to have an approach where your brain has time to expand and take on new ideas. And then something we'll come back to again and again, point 4 is make your calendar your friend. If you wait for free time to work on yourself, there'll never be free time. But if you book in the free time first, that you're going to be working for yourself, whether that be half an hour every week or half an hour every couple of weeks, with a clear purpose of what you want to do in that time, meet a mentor, book time with a peer, catch up with a colleague, read a book, you have to make time because someone else can't steal it. You've protected it. And protecting your time is probably the number one thing that I think you can do. I want to talk a little bit about community because there has been an explosion. Community is a bit trendy. If you're in marketing right now, you might think of your social media following as a community. And it is if they're collaborating, if they're giving back, discussing, exchanging ideas. But most brands, a lot of businesses are thinking about building a space where their customers, their users, their staff can meet. Think about it like a virtual staff room. Think about it like a big event hall. And that's what Otolo is, but it could be any community that's right for you, a space where you can share what you're learning on, share what questions you have, contribute your ideas and what progress you're making, but actively listen to what others are wanting, to what others are putting in as well. And it's that peer-to-peer learning that I think could disrupt the whole way this industry trains and develops itself. But for now, let's just think about it as a way for you to work on your development goals and think about getting ahead. So it's a really powerful way to build relationships, but you have to contribute. You have to share what you need. You have to message people that you think can help. It's not about sales. It's not about persuasion. It's just about being authentic. And someone like Otolo, someone like Rocco is one of our mentors. We've met, we've vetted our mentors. They're available on the platform. How great would it be to chat to an experienced resort GM if that's the kind of thing you want to be doing in 5 or 10 years' time? A busy 2 years in a country like Mexico where the guests are still coming and going. Well, what could we learn in Europe where our hotels have had a much rougher ride and been shut for a lot of that? What kind of lessons are coming out of some different countries? Where do you do it? Well, look, there's dozens of these communities. What is your goal and what is your aim? Maybe it's for your function. If you're more creative, it might be a community like Fearless for designers or the Dots for creative people. There's communities for mental health. There's communities for HR. There's communities for fitness. Obviously, Otolo exists as a home for the hospitality community, whether you want to be a GM, whether you want to work in a restaurant or in events, whether you want to contribute to the future of the industry, that's the space that we want to be. Why does it work? Well, the benefits are really clear. We see it on Otolo every day. You get surrounded by people who are keen to help you. And when does that happen? You don't always get a chance to talk about what you're working on at home. At work, you may be screening yourself a little bit. Maybe you're nervous that people will judge you if you say you don't quite know what to do. If you come across too keen, there might be a perception there that's not quite the right way. But being in a community where people don't know who you are, they don't mind. They just want to see you're only as good as what you contribute. Doesn't matter if you're 21, doesn't matter if you're 41, doesn't matter if you're 61 or older, doesn't matter where in the world you come from. A place where you can feel more confident, a place where you can contribute, a place where you can be happier, a place where you can have some fun. That's what these online communities are able to do. And it's a really exciting trend. I personally believe hospitality is the perfect industry for something like this because we have a service mindset, because we've been trained and bred to help each other, to put others first, to serve. And so our communities are stronger and braver and bolder. And that's the heart of what Otolo is all about. So now over to you. This could well be yet another event that you go to and think, oh, I might do some of those things. Or it can be something, if you think you're worth it, that you actually do something with. I had a great chat with one of our mentees last week who's been mentored through the whole of 2021. And he was just able to rattle off all these amazing benefits that he had had. And I talked about how he made the commitment, because I know how hard it is every 2 weeks to book in time with a mentor, because we never have a quiet moment. This guy's a hotel manager, working 80 hours a week on his feet the whole time. But he booked in 8 a.m. every other Friday morning, a call with his mentor, when he knew he could just about get away with not being bothered, with not being chased by family or colleagues or customers. So what worked well for him? Well, he booked a time. He said, this is going to happen at this time every week or every couple of weeks. And he planned. He used a chance as he walked around the hotel, as he got a bit of exercise, he built a mentor list and he started writing down what he wanted to chat to his mentor about. Bit of confidence before a big meeting, thinking about how to motivate his team, challenges in bringing back staff. But he had a couple of things that he knew he wanted to chat through with his mentor. The middle one here is all about connection. It doesn't matter whether you join Otolo or not, but find a space online where you feel like you're in a safe space, that you can share what's going on, what you want to learn on. Make sure you get a bit of time with peers inside your company, or as I'm clearly advocating, outside your company where you can get a really fresh perspective. If you're in marketing, if you chatted to other marketeers around the world, you know, you're picking up on some of these amazing customer trends in China and Southeast Asia around how people are thinking about digital devices. Are you chatting to people in the States where they were much more robust in the way they kept traveling through the pandemic and have adapted in a very different way than perhaps we have here in Europe? You can't get away with not connecting. You know, if you come to events like this, you should be connecting with people afterwards on LinkedIn, on Otolo. You should be putting a question in the chat. You should be introducing where in the world you're from. If you don't say anything, people won't know where you are, who you are, what you want, and how to help you get something out of the session. And then lastly, you have to actually contribute. You can't, unless you collaborate yourself, you are just a taker. And that might work on Facebook, and that might work on LinkedIn. But if you want to be part of the hospitality industry that's recovering, you have to ask for help. You have to kind of message a mentor. You have to message someone with similar skills in order to start building those bonds and building those networks. And that's the only way it's going to work. No one, you're going back to the theme of this talk, your boss cannot drag you through this. You have to make that decision to wake up in the morning and go, I have plans. I know where I want to go, and I'm going to start taking small steps in order to get there. So I'm going to ask you all to do one thing. In the chat, I just want you to put one of your goals for 2022. Make it one word, make it a short sentence. But what is it that you want to get for yourself out of your career or out of your personal life this year? Take that first step. People who take a first step and write down their goals are 10 times more likely to achieve them. I just joined the Sanctus community, which is a fantastic mental health community, encouraging journaling and the sharing of goals. And the first email you get nails it. It's like, you just have to write the first comment. You have to join a community like Sanctus or like Otolo or like LinkedIn, and you have to say something. That first step makes you 10 times more likely to be successful, to continue your journey, to meet the kind of people you want to meet, and to share the kind of ideas you want to share. So come to Otolo, join Fresh Perspective, but either way, start taking charge of the choices you want to make, the career you want to have. It's not up to your boss, it's not up to your employer. Fantastic if you've landed in a world of opportunity, in a world of privilege, and it's all going great for you. But if you're one of those people who you realize you're going to have to take charge, you're going to have to stand on your own 2 feet, then make it your time and make it work now. If you do join Otolo, please drop me a message. I'm obviously on there in a profile. Works exactly the same as a LinkedIn or a Facebook. Let me know. I don't normally say this, but let me know what your goals are. Just drop me a quick message and I'll be more than happy to introduce you to one of the team or a mentor or some members that I think can get you off to a really fast start. It's all about that first experience and making sure it goes well. That's it from me. I'm obviously expecting you to have dozens of questions now because that's been exactly the theme of this topic, if you hadn't noticed. But thanks so much for the invite. Thanks for your time, and hopefully you've enjoyed the session.